Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first Furman Football Tuesday with head coach Clay Hendricks of the season. Press conferences will be at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays this year. Paladins coming off of the 23-21 victory over William and Mary on opening weekend, and this Saturday at Paladins Stadium, they'll be taking on a Presbyterian College team that beat Mercer in Macon last Saturday. Besides Coach Clay Hendricks, we have Joshua Stoneking, Joshua Burrell, and not Joshua, but Ian Williams. We had a chance to go 3 for 3 there. Anyway, Coach, I'll ask you to make an opening statement, and then we'll get to questions from folks here.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dan. Certainly thrilled to get a win against a really quality opponent, William and Mary, on Saturday. Really proud of our team. I think total team effort, it took all 3 phases. Did some really good things. You go back, watch the tape. As always, we're going to have to be a lot better, and certainly hope to see that progress this week from week 1 to week 2. But again, it's hard to judge first weeks. You look around the country, a lot of crazy things happen first week. But just playing a team that, don't quote me. I think they'd won 44 of their last 46 out of conference games in over 20 years. So used to winning. I think anytime you're playing teams like that, I knew their strength was up front on both sides of the ball, as that was evident on Saturday. So certainly it was a great challenge for us, and again, thrilled to get the win and move on to play a really good Presbyterian team who's coming off a great win for them.
I'll start the first question for you, Coach. The fact is you can't carry one season over to another very often. We know that. But at the same time, I think we all who watched this team play last year, there were some moments in the third quarter that we went, uh-oh, maybe here we go again. But boy, your kids really reeled it back in. What would you say would be the difference, especially what you were able to do from end of the third quarter on?
Well, I think just maturity. We knew going into a year ago we were a young, inexperienced group, got kind of ravaged by injuries, and just really lacked confidence. We talked about confidence today. Confidence can be a great thing if you use it the right way. I think our sport has a great way of humbling you. You just look around the country, look at games. It can humble you as a player, can humble you as an offense, defense, as a team. And I don't know. I didn't feel so much humbled a year ago because I thought our kids did the things we asked of them. We weren't real talented in some areas. We weren't very experienced. We didn't take care of. We didn't do things you had to do to win games. And I said all along it was a different group. I knew Saturday there were going to be some good plays we'd make, and there'd be some good plays we'd make. Just staying positive in how we responded. Just most proud, and again took all phases. I don't know if anybody works any harder at special teams at any level than we do, and it paid off. I really think that was really the biggest difference in the game. Saturday, and played well, solid, but we can play a whole lot better, and we'll need to. Starting this week, I think this week will probably be a bigger challenge for us in a number of ways than maybe last week was, but. Just confidence. Our guys, really good leadership, and had a lot of guys out there playing Saturday we didn't have a year ago. So I think a combination of those factors.
Joshua Burrell, did yesterday sort of feel like it was or Saturday sort of feel like, that game was kind of your first game? Because, last year you had your season basically after 2 games, and you're really an impact player on Saturday. Could you just talk about what it felt like being out there and doing those things for the first time?
Yeah, for sure. To answer your question, it kind of did feel like that first game kind of feeling. It really felt surreal. I just want to thank God for everything I've been through in my career. Just kind of going back on my previous school, and then last year being here as well, just kind of the injuries I've gone through. Just kind of made me to the player I am now, and also coming in, switching to playing tight end. Last year was kind of just my first year doing that, and I just didn't get those opportunities to do that last year. So it kind of did feel like it was my first opportunity, but it felt good. I felt good to be alongside my brothers, having my twin brother here now too. So it was just really a really good feeling to be out there and compete, and then just getting after it. So.
Joshua Stone King, you were here 2 years ago, your first year in the part of that 2023 team with one of the deepest defensive lines that Furman's had in recent memory. And although I think you played in one game, you didn't really letter that year, but you saw that unit. And then last year had so many new faces, including you, as far as playing goes. It seems like this unit is kind of beginning to swing back toward what it was in 23, playing a lot of guys. What's it been like in the last 2 years to see that change?
I think the biggest difference has been our depth. Like last year, we had a bunch of injuries. We lost X early on in the season, and this year it's just the depth is kind of like similar to the 23 season, and we can go 3 deep, and there won't be any drop off in production.
Ian, particularly since it's a year apart, but you had a rough night at William and Mary and a perfect night this time. That's too far apart, but there's something to be said about, there's always the tangible and the intangible. And believing you're going to win, believing you're going to make it, even a whole team sort of learning how to compete, but learning how to nail it down. That winning field goal just didn't look like there was much problem to it for you.
Yeah. No, last year's game was definitely a big reason for me to come back. I mean, I feel like I didn't leave it all on the table last year, and I feel like this one was marked on my calendar. Coming up this year, it was a big game for us, and just coming off last year's season, I feel like I really wanted this game back. And, I mean, like Coach Hendricks said earlier, we've been working a lot on special teams. We kicked over 100 field goals probably over fall camp. We did a lot. Coach Bing does a great job with the special teams units, and, I mean, it's just like a routine habit just to go out there, kick a field goal. I don't really look to see how far it is. I didn't even know the first field goal was about 50 yards. So I think I would just have the mindset of just hitting just an extra point, just a regular field goal. It doesn't put too much stress on me. So.
To piggyback off that, Coach, how important is it to have a kicker that you could pretty much kick it anywhere you want and get it right where it needs to be? And for the offense, I mean, knowing that y'all are out there, that hey, if we just get within 60 yards, we got in. He's got our back. How does it between the two of y'all? Could y'all give me an answer on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really, that's kind of the mark. At 60, I don't even really hesitate if the conditions are right. Now, there could be some wind or maybe a certain place in the game, but no, a lot of confidence. Really one of the really kind of disappointing things for me Saturday was, I thought second quarter, there at the end of the half, we had a chance to kind of take control. We'd already talked, hey, let's get 3 points, almost like it's a given. We'll have a 10-point lead here at the half, and we'll get the ball to start second half, and then obviously we turn the ball over. No, I just thought we punted the football Saturday. We got to improve some things net. There we can be better in coverage. We can always be better in protection, but just having the ability to kick the ball in the end zone, it's almost a given. You think about where we've been, from a kicking, long snapping. Riley, I thought had a great day. Gitter had a great day holding. I think it just spills over in everything we do. I think. I believe that probably our history of blocking kicks probably came into play a little bit with a mishandling of a snap, and the missed kick for the half, which was big, which was huge. So we'll continue to do that. But yeah, certainly, Ian, we don't even hesitate, when it comes to that.
Yeah, for sure. I just kind of work off of that. Coach Spain talks about Ian all the time, just best kicker in the country. Just kind of it takes that stress off of offense. You're kind of going in those points of a game when you're down, and it's just like when you think about it, you're thinking like, oh, we might need a touchdown. You need a touchdown to win the game. Seal the deal. We just need points. And at the end of the day, Ian plays offense with us too when it comes to situations like that. So just kind of having a kicker like that, okay, we get in that range like you said. We're going to come off this drive with some points on the board. So just having a kicker like that is awesome. At the end of the day, you win games like that.
Hey, I'll say this too. I don't know that we've done this the last few years. The first kick we had, first extra point, that's first live kick. With a live rush, we did all preseason. We just choose not to do that. And had a couple of new guys up there. You know, and I knew they knocked us around a little bit up front a year ago, just in that particular team. So I thought other than maybe the first extra point where we had a little bit of seepage, for the most part was really solid protection-wise. And, you know, I think our guys are bought in, hey, you know, we got a chance to score here every time we're out there, so let's certainly do the things we need to do to give them a chance from a protection standpoint.
Well, let's stay on this theme because, and Ian, for better or worse, people look at you when the kick is made or when a kick is missed, but you're the third part in a three-part act: snapper, holder, and the kick. And you have to develop rhythm and timing and confidence in that position. So how long does it take you as the kicker to develop that confidence and that rhythm with your snapper and your holder?
So yeah, that's what kind of the plan was going after the season last year. I mean, I felt like last year Luke Hedrick did a great job holding, and we had Jacob Hefner last year. And coming in my last year, I was like, I wanted to have just great confidence in them, and it all starts in the spring. So I kind of set up a routine that we'd all get out after lift, and we get 10 snaps a day with Gitter and Riley. And this is their first start field goal snapping, and him playing a game, Greg Gitter playing a game. So I think just spring ball, summer ball, and then just working outside of practice when we're not working in any special teams. It's just get a couple kicks here, and it's just confidence and just having reps over reps over reps. So it's always the best part.
Ian, you obviously have a great record of putting the ball in the end zone. I mean, I think 213 kicks and one out of bounds. Your first kickoff of the day, did you just kind of tease us a little bit, putting it down inside the pylon there? Was that by design, or just say, hey, I can do that too?
No, that was not by design. I actually don't know what really happened. I think I just tried to overhit it. Just the first kickoff I always try to let off. So I think I just overdid it, and I got lucky with that one, Coach Spang said. So I'm glad I got away with that one, and then I just made sure to hit the other balls like I normally do.
I literally was standing next to Coach Spang when that happened, and we looked at each other thinking, well, you know, we're pretty happy with the bounce we got. You know, I said maybe that's a good sign of things to come. We hadn't had a lot of those lately.
Joshua, I wanted to ask you about the opportunity you have this year playing with your twin brother. Did you ever foresee that as possible when you headed off to Florida State and he went to Army West Point, that one day you guys would be on the same team, and how's that going for you?
We really didn't foresee that. Just kind of making that decision to go to Florida State, I kind of had to, kind of deal with the punches of, not playing collegiate ball with my twin brother. And that was kind of always a dream of ours growing up. Just kind of at the time that Florida State was a school of choice for me. It just didn't work out, so I had to kind of like make that my mind up with it. Have those tough conversations with my brother and my parents. But having that opportunity to have him come here has been, truly a blessing, truly an honor. And it's been great for my parents as well, just having all my family have to come to, one game. I have to go, 7 hours down to Florida and then, 12 hours up to New York to see them play at Army West Point, stuff like that. So just having all my family here makes everything a lot easier. My mom's she can sleep happier at night. So it's been good. And he's really coming into his own. He really bought into, just the culture of Furman football since he's come in, and everybody loves him here. So, yeah, it's been good.
Coach, I think one of the differences that we all noticed was the play of the defensive backs on Saturday. Can you just talk about when you bring in a lot of guys, I guess 5 guys like that, and they're all pretty mature, what difference have they made in the locker room, off the field as much as on the field?
Well, I think the biggest change has been, where they meet usually right over there. And Coach Mangus said that pretty quickly. He and Coach Spang, for the most part, meet separately, safeties and corners. So I think that probably as much as anything. I think we talk a lot about culture and the culture of our football team, and I think they've been a tremendous addition to our team in that regard. And that's a lonely world they live in. And it's everybody sees it. But had really good preseason. We've got some depth over there. We battled some injuries throughout the preseason, but I think it's a group that's going to continue to get better. They got tested out there Saturday, and it's a mixture, some veteran guys with some younger guys, and I think they'll only get better because again they're doing all the things that you need to do to get better. And again, that for us, that's just what our focus has got to continue to be. But they've certainly been a welcome addition.
A year ago, a lot of people went on and off the field on defense for a variety of reasons. He's lost a lot of people. And you're also doing that musical chairs where you're trying to keep people eligible for red shirts. So there was more madness than method sometimes. Saturday's game looked like 2 years ago. It looked like you rotate a lot of people, particularly in the secondary, and it looked more like the way the defense looked 2 years ago. That just show how many more options you got.
Well, 2 years ago we were a really mature football team, old football team, and it's funny, we're still a relatively young team, but relatively experienced, and I think that's probably the biggest difference. I just always, you go back and like I said, each year's a little different. That's like so many people put way too much stock in what you did last year, good, bad, and different. Last year doesn't matter, but it was a good learning experience for us. Josh was a great example. We were excited to have him those last 4 games, and he missed the last 4 games of defense with an illness, at the end of the year when we really felt like he was going to be a guy coming to his own. And, for him and Malachi Dobbins out there Saturday, I'm kind of the quarterback police at practice. And, I've been on them, staying away from a guy. It's the first time really those two, you think about it, both of them really had a chance to go live against a quarterback. And, because it's one thing to get back there, but then you still got to get him on the ground and in the hits. But I think that's just kind of like our whole team is. Demetrius Balls, we tried to space out his games, and he finally got in the game at the end in I think the last game at Mercer, which was game 4 for him. He caused a fumble. Well, he started Saturday with Ty Cosrud out. We shifted Caldwell over. He had that much of a preseason. So again, he's really only played one game. One game this year and a couple games last year. So those are the guys we'd really like to see the jump. They should. All right, I've played against a quality opponent. Really talented people, and hopefully that'll help us this week.
Joshua, on the defensive side of the ball this weekend, y'all were really going after the quarterback, and I think the left tackle for William and Mary was really struggling against all of you, and then there was we're not going to say anything about the calls, but y'all were really having fun with him. What does it feel to, you get in the huddle and you got 2 guys that you're just wearing out, and if what is your mindset whenever you're tearing up their offensive line?
Well, it just gets us to have like a second win. Like if we're out there for like 10 plays and we're tired, we're like, oh, this is pass rush opportunity against a guy that we've been doing good against all day. It just gives us that second win to get back in the backfield, get the quarterback. And both sides, me and Dobbins were out there in our NASCAR package. We both complemented each other very well with having the quarterback step up and then we're right there, or vice versa. So we both did a very good job of complementing each other in our rushes. Also
for Joshua Stone King, you're taught as a pass rusher, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. And as I just found out, you can't officially, statistically give credit for a tip ball and an interception, but somebody on the front tipped the ball that Blaylock intercepted, took for the pick 6. In your heart, as a defensive lineman, do you take half credit for that pick 6?
Yes. Oh yeah, I honestly didn't know somebody tipped it, but if we're giving out credit, sure.
But the funny part of it aside, can you address what I said at the beginning? How you're coached if you can't get there to get your hands up?
Yes, sir. So we just gotta. Coach Vaughn does a good job of teaching us how to just match the throw. So if we see the quarterback, he's looking towards more of the middle field, we're going to put our inside hand up. If he's looking more outside, put our outside hand up. So it's just more about matching the way his arm is going to end up and where the ball's going to come off his hand and all that kind of stuff. So.
And you're able to think about all that on the fly?
Yes, sir, because we practice it so much, so it's kind of second nature.
Coach Hendricks, what do you see in PC? I'm sure you've already seen some tape on them and coming off a big win down at Mercer.
Yeah, I think Coach Engelhart and job he's done there, it's, Hunter, this year, your PC grad, a couple of awful decisions they made a few years ago, with Tommy Spangler and then guy that wasn't good enough to play quarterback for them, who was a pretty good player for us, Tyler Huff. But the higher coach, Englehart's done a phenomenal job. Used to watching these get better and better every year. They're an older football team, I think, which is what we want to be when you're an older football team. I just think you have a chance to be better. I mean, you go watch that game, and I got to watch some of it live the end of the game when I got home the other night. But you go back and watch it, they won everything. I mean, they won every category of everything. There wasn't a fluky play in that game. Sometimes you think, well, for this to happen, something had to happen. I mean, it wasn't. If nothing else, they left some points out there. So, I mean, I just, you just don't see any weaknesses. I think the quarterback's a heck of a player. He reminds me of Tyler Huff. He's a different style guy, and they ask him to do a little different. But, he's accurate. He knows where to get his ball. He's hard to get to. He doesn't hold the ball. Mercer's been really good at getting after quarterbacks, and he didn't hold the ball. They're physical up front, big up front, physical. They run the ball. They kind of who they are. They've got good receivers, got good skill, and then defensively, I think the thing that stands out is just how hard they play defensively. And Mercer had a hard time running the ball, and quarterback had a hard time completing passes. So, I mean, and you can tell they spend a lot of time on special teams as well. So that shows up. You just watch them, how they finished last year. I think they won their last 4. And then I think I saw completed like 75% of his passes, hadn't thrown a pick. That's a pretty good recipe to win games, So, and if we let him do that Saturday, we're probably going to have trouble winning too. So, be a huge challenge for us, And again, it goes back, what was it, 63-10 a year ago? When they went to Mercer, and to think that wasn't weighing on Mercer a little bit coming into, I'm sure it did. That's what last year doesn't matter. Last week really doesn't matter. I mean, it's a little different this year because we do have tape. We do have a tape. Even the challenges of last week with William and Mary. You kind of knew who they had back. There were some new guys. They'd taken some transfer guys, just like we had some new things. But there's tape. Both of us have played a game, so it's out there, and we'll have to play exceptionally well to win Saturday.
Josh Burrell, Saturday there was a lot of new faces at receiver. Several, made an impact, including yourself. Can you talk about? It seems to be, even though Furman lost some players at wide receiver, there's a lot of speed there. Can you talk about just how you guys can impact the game and what you see?
Yeah, for sure. On offensively, we got a lot of different weapons. Like you said, receiver in the tight end room, and then in the running back room as well. Just everybody can do a lot of different things. I feel like we all complement each other well. Shout out Evan James. He had a heck of a game as a true freshman. He's had a heck of a camp as well. Just coming in, just plugging away, learning plays and stuff like that, and he's going to make our team a lot better. You talk about all the other guys. We've got Devin Hester. He's taking a step from year one to year 2. You've got like Keith Hamilton, Ethan Harris. You got Kerry King. A bunch of different names in the room. Then you got like me and Jackson Pryor. You got Luke Clyburn. He got involved in the passing game as well. And you just talk about running backs like Gavin Hall, Jaquan, Ben Crosdale, just a bunch of different, like I said, a bunch of different names. Everybody's explosive. It just really makes the offense really dynamic. And I feel like I can speak for the offense. I feel like we didn't have our best game, so that just kind of makes you, I feel like I'm licking my chops, ready to get back out there. Just kind of show everybody everything that we can do, and put everything together and execute a full game. So
Sometimes an athlete tells himself, "This team we're playing is tough. We better be ready." And he tells himself that, and himself just doesn't buy it. You think the PC's, the way they played Saturday, prevented anything like that from happening this Saturday? That was a shock to the system, them knocking off Mercer that way.
Yeah, I mean, go watch the tape. We played at Mercer the last game of the year last year, and we didn't. We played pretty well for a while. Then we kind of self-destructed. But I mean, they had a heck of a year. But again, it's not last year. Again, you just watch the tape. You just watch the tape, and I mean, just don't. Where do you attack them? Where are the weaknesses? I don't really see a lot of just true weaknesses. You got to go. But again, I think for us, it just comes. It's more about us. Just like Josh said, we we did some really good things, but, man, we've got to clean up a bunch of stuff. And, man, we had a chance to hit some deep balls. We got to make those plays. We got to protect a little better. We lost some one-on-ones up front that we can. But I think the best thing about it is you just see everything I saw Saturday's fixable. And, again, we've been tested against a really talented group, a really talented defensive front, maybe as good as we'll see at our level all year. So, I think their one corner kid, I think somebody says the number 3 rated player in all of FCS, So I just think we've played against some really good competition, which that's what you got to do, and which will prepare us for this week. But again, it's about us, can we go be better? We had the big return on the kickoff. I thought we left 2 really good opportunities on punt returns out there. We got to cover a little better. So again, there's lots and lots of stuff we can do better. You got to eliminate a couple of explosion plays. I think if you take the explosion plays away from them, I think we would have played really real defensively. And I'm sure they're sitting up there today, just like Coach Vaughn has said. They're probably love to have about 3 plays back as well. But that's how those games are. And the game Saturday with Mercer, Presbyterian, a couple of plays really kind of the ones that kind of flipped the whole game around. And so, again, we're just focusing on us and what we do out there at practice today.
Coach, one more before we wrap it up. We're 26 minutes into a press conference and nobody's asked you about your quarterback yet, which might be a record around here. So I'm going to ask you about your quarterback. Trey's decision-making, taking care of the ball. What'd you think Saturday?
I thought he had a really solid day. Trey's grown as much as anybody on our team. He got put in a really tough role a year ago. I just think it started with how he's changed his body. He looks like a different guy. He's in just his maturity. He knows what's going on. I think probably, you go back and look, could we have avoided this negative play on I don't know. I don't think we could have with a couple of them. I know the one blindside sack was on him. He should have been looking that way. But I thought he was really solid. I thought he made some plays with his feet. He shows he's a pretty good athlete. He was decisive in that regard. He was accurate. I think he's only going to get better, as he continues to trust the folks around him. I thought there's very few times that he, I think I heard Coach Roper tell him one time, just calm down a little bit, and just and just relax a little bit out there and play. But no, I was really pleased how he played, as Coach was. And again, he's like everybody else. He's got to get better. He's been a really good leader for us throughout camp. He's taken that role on. Last year he was just trying to, what do I do and where do I go with the ball? And I think, as an older guy, you can become more of a leader, when you get put in those situations. And so, again, really pleased to watch him continue going forward.
All right, final thought as we wrap it up.
No, it's just certainly great to be home again. Got a chance to be 2-0. And again, I don't know, you want to play good teams, and we got a good team coming in here. And I don't think it'll be any, we have early morning meetings on Tuesday. We had a really good practice Sunday. And we'll go this afternoon and need to have a great week of prep. And again, just continue to focus on things that we have to do to continue to develop individually and as a team get better. And it'll be a really good challenge for us. And I think our guys will be up for it.
Well, thanks to Coach Clay Hendricks and to players Joshua Stoneking, Joshua Burrell, and Ian Williams for joining us for our first press conference of the year. Just remind you that kickoff here at Paladins Stadium against Presbyterian College is at 2 p.m. on Saturday. You'll get the game on ESPN Plus. From a TV standpoint and from a radio standpoint, we will hit the air with the Pepsi Countdown to Kickoff at 12:30. Hope to see you at Paladins Stadium, but if not, we've got you covered either way. That will take care of our first press conference of the year. For all of us here at Furman, I'm Dan Scott. God bless you, and so long, everybody.